Have you ever felt like your relationships were slipping away and you didn't know how to fix them? What if I told you that one unexpected conversation could change everything? I've been there, and I'm about to share the moment that shifted my entire perspective, and it just might do the same for you. Stick around because this story will make you rethink how you connect with the people you love. And it all started with a conversation at a networking event I almost didn't attend. It was a warm Friday evening, and I was standing outside the event hall, holding a cup of coffee that had long gone cold. The networking event had been on my calendar for weeks, but after a long, stressful week, I was tempted to skip it. Honestly, I felt like I'd hit a plateau. My relationship with Jack had improved, my friendships were growing, but something was still missing. I just didn't know what. Inside, the air was thick with the hum of conversations and the soft clinking of glasses. I was half listening to a speaker drone on about the power of branding, but my mind kept wandering. Was I stuck? I'd made so much progress, but why didn't it feel like enough? That's when I noticed him. He was standing off to the side, away from the crowd, looking as if he was waiting for someone. He wasn't flashy or overly charismatic, but there was something about him that pulled my attention. He had this calm, quiet confidence, like he knew something the rest of us didn't. I don't even know what made me walk over, but I did. So, branding, huh? I said awkwardly, motioning toward the speaker, trying to break the ice. He smiled slightly, but his eyes stayed focused on me like he could see straight through the small talk. Branding's important, he replied, but it's not why you're here, is it? His words caught me off guard. What do you mean? I asked, trying to shake off the unease creeping up my spine. He shrugged casually, but his next words hit like a ton of bricks. You're here because you feel stuck, like you've done everything you're supposed to, but something's still missing. I froze. How did he know? I hadn't told anyone about that nagging feeling, the sense that despite all my progress, I was still incomplete. He paused for a moment, reading my reaction, before continuing. You've rebuilt your relationships, started opening up to people more, and that's great. But you're holding back. You're afraid to step into your real potential. My heart was racing. It felt like he was peeling back layers of me I didn't even know I had. My throat tightened, and I forced a laugh to break the tension. Yeah, maybe, but how would you know? He leaned in slightly, lowering his voice so only I could hear. Because I've been there. Stuck. Feeling like I'm on the brink of something bigger but too scared to take the leap. That's when it hit me. He wasn't just talking at me, he was talking to me, like he knew exactly where I was in my journey. His words felt like someone shining a light on all the shadows I'd been ignoring. I used to be like you, he said, his voice softer now. I played it safe, focused on improving the things I could control, relationships, finances, health. But I was still playing small, and it took a stranger to point that out before I finally woke up. I stood there, staring at him, my mind racing. Was that me? Was I playing small, too afraid to truly step into my potential because I'd convinced myself that I'd already done enough? I swallowed hard. So what happened? What made you change? He smiled, but this time it was more like a knowing smirk. I stopped worrying about the how and just decided to go all in on the why. Why was I holding back? Why was I afraid? Once I stopped trying to control every detail, the answers came on their own. He handed me a card with nothing but a name and a phone number, then looked me dead in the eye. You haven't even scratched the surface of what you're capable of. If you're ready to find out what's next, give me a call. And just like that, he turned and walked away, disappearing into the crowd before I could even process what had happened. I stood there, card in hand, heart racing, mind spinning. His words echoed in my head, you haven't even scratched the surface. But before I could react, the sound of applause broke through the fog, and I realized the speaker was wrapping up. The crowd began to shift toward the exit, but I was still rooted to the spot. What did he mean, and what was I supposed to do now? I wanted to follow him, ask more questions, get more answers, but he was gone. I stared down at the card, my mind buzzing with possibilities. I couldn't shake the feeling that this chance encounter wasn't just random. It was exactly what I needed. Curious about what happens next. Stay tuned for the next story, where I'll reveal the unexpected turn my journey took after that night. And trust me, it's not what you'd expect. You'll want to hear this one.